So you're interested in intellectual property and protecting your business, and there's different routes for protecting your intellectual property, and it's important to know each one of them and how it helps you, and what one will you need to cover your business needs. In general, the four different types of intellectual property protection are trademarks, copyrights, patents, and design rights. Each of these rights protect a different aspect of the product or service. So it's always important to know which one you would need for your business needs and to protect your products and services, and not to confuse them with each other. Whilst these four intellectual property rights are the most common and most important rights in the intellectual property area, there's more intellectual property consideration in place to consider and think about before moving with the process of protecting your IP. So intellectual property rights in general help you create a distinctive aspect to your business. So for example, trademarks are a sign of origin and distinct you from any other of the brands out there or your competitors. So your clients or your customers would know that this product is coming and originating from your business. And in design rights, you will also have that distinct visual appeal for the customers as well. So if you have a design right of a specific, let's say a suitcase, for example, in a specific way that's uncommon in the market, that would help differentiate your products from others in the industry. There's also copyrights, which can act like your voice to the customer, because that includes your advertisement material, any promotional campaigns you do, any of that material involved will be copyrighted. So that's why intellectual property rights are very important to help you distinguish yourself from the market. So if other competitors were able to use your IP rights, just like your trademarks, your design, or whatever, that would decrease the value of your products, or take a bit of the value out of your marks and the branding that you use. So it's always important to have that edge over your competitors and have your intellectual property rights protected. So automatic rights include copyright, passing off, which acts more like an unregistered trademark right in the UK. On the other side, registrable rights include patents, trademarks, registered design rights, which offer you a bit more protection and a longer duration of protection than unregistered design rights. It's always better to go for a registered right and try to register intellectual property, because in most cases, like we just said about the design rights, the registered design right would offer you more protection, broader protection, and at the same time it would offer you a longer duration of protection. So it's always important to know that, and of course this has to be tailored to your business needs. So for example, some businesses might find that unregistered design rights are more suitable for their needs than registered design right, and going through all that process. It's also for example, in trademarks. Trademarks offer you a more broad protection and a more robust protection to stop anyone else from using your trademarks. Passing off also offers you that protection, but in a more confined way, of course. It's very common for a startup business or any business to use several different forms of intellectual property for the same product or for the same purpose. So for example, a food company or a drinks company, you will first at least need to trademark your logo and your brand name, which will be displayed on all the products that you sell. You will also at the same time need to protect the design and the shape of the presentation, or the shape of the product and how it's presented. You can also have copyrights over the marketing and advertisement material of the products that you're selling. So any images, any material in general to advertise your product would also be considered as copyright. So in the food industry, we're also seeing a lot of companies come up with new technologies involving relating to that food or products they sell. So, for example, a company could come up with a new packaging that has functional aspects and that could help, let's say, preserve the food or keep the temperature of the food or any of that. So, in that sense, you could also have a patent on that product that you're selling. So, you can see that for just a food or drinks business, you can have 4 different intellectual property rights involved, and all of these are going to be as important as the other. It's very important to consult an intellectual property specialist before you proceed with registering any of your rights or protecting your intellectual property rights. And that's because from an intellectual property specialist, you'll get more commercial advice on how to utilize these IP rights and what specific rights you can register, what specific rights you will need, and how to tailor them to your business needs. It's also important to get an intellectual property specialist help when registering rights, because the process of registering your intellectual property rights with the Intellectual Property Office can be a bit complex sometimes, and with intellectual property specialists. So, for example, we've seen a lot of those applications. We know specifically what we will need to include, what we won't need to include, how to get the best possible form of protection according to what your business needs. And so it's always important to talk to an intellectual property specialist. Even if it wasn't for us, it's always important to go and seek advice from an intellectual property specialist.